Palestine was a British colony from 1917 to 1948, and during that time, the US wasn't really involved. In 1947, we were part of the UN General Assembly vote approving the 1947 partition plan, in which 56% of Palestine would be awarded to the Jewish residents of Palestine, who made up 30% of the population, and the 70% of the population that was Arab would get squished into 44% of their own homeland. The proposal was rejected by surrounding Arab states and the Palestinians, and fighting broke out. On May 14, 1948, the day British rule in Palestine was scheduled to end, Israel declared itself an independent state, kicking off the Arab-Israeli War. 11 minutes after Israel announced its statehood, President Harry Truman issued a statement making the US the first nation to recognize Israel's independence. Now, why was the US so eager to jump into bed with a tiny new nation already embroiled in conflict? According to former US Ambassador to Israel, Samuel Lewis, there were 6 main reasons for Truman's declaration and preserve the ideal of US homogeneity. The result was that US borders were almost entirely sealed off to the European Jews who were later murdered in the Holocaust. In 1948, that guilt was powerful. 3. Humanitarianism. Jewish people who had survived the Holocaust clearly needed somewhere to go, and it's not like we wanted them to live here. 4. Judeo-Christian enthusiasm. Anytime there's a biblical excuse to do something, a lot of folks will get excited. The Bible says that the Israelites are supposed to inherit that land. This angle shouldn't be underestimated. Today, evangelical Christians are more uncritically supportive of Israel than Jewish people are. 5. Ignorance. American politicians simply didn't understand the complex history of the region and how devastating the creation of Israel would be. Oops. 6. Idealism. Americans love an underdog story, and something about the Jewish people fighting for their independence really appealed to Truman's personal sense of justice. And as a culture, we've held tightly to this narrative ever since. And if you're like, wait, Lejo, what about the most obvious reason we stick by Israel, the strategic advantage, which we were obviously really keen to keep a close eye on? Where Kennedy had unlocked the door, Lyndon B. Johnson kicked it down. LBJ was already a major fan of Israel, having supported every aid package and voting against any sanctions during his time as a senator and majority leader. As the USSR steadily increased military aid to Egypt and Syria, Israel became an essential bulwark against Soviet encroachment, as well as a vital tool for securing oil. So to help maintain the regional balance of power, Johnson ignored CIA recommendations and sold Israel more than 200 M48 tanks, plus A4 Skyhawk and F4 Phantom planes. He also never pressured Israel to sign the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. This was the birth of the US's commitment to what's known as Israel's Qualitative Military Edge, or QME, meaning the technological, tactical, and other advantages that allow Israel to deter numerically superior adversaries. But that doesn't mean Johnson approved every request Israel made. In 1967, when Egypt blockaded the port of Eilat,